What's up? How are ya? How's your mum? Was that Rove who used to say, tell mum I love her, or something about your mum? Ah, mums. What a great time to be alive. Crowie here, Sparky Coach Pod, another episode. We're going to talk today around quoting. And it's so interesting, we just built this finding work playbook. And we had a finding work Bible. Lots of our stuff is quite religious. We're quite religious here. I know Cam's got the statue of Mary above his bed, just hovering above him. Is it a statue of Mary? I don't know. You know what I'm saying. Where were we? I remember we built a finding work Bible, which is like the things you can do to sort of get work and get more work and find leads and just like, I don't know, just basically it's all you can do. Anyone that tries to overcomplicate lead generation is a massive kook. It's pretty simple. And there's certain stuff for you to sort of adopt, the David Hasselhoff mantra. In other words, maybe one thing a day you've got to do. There's other things to adopt, like, like basically make sure every client is a repeat client. Huge, because you don't try and just hit it and quit it. Am I right? We're not just trying to like take the client and, I was sick, like I have a one night stand or something. It's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to make all clients long-term clients. We're not trying to, this is, you got to see, the philosophy we adopt is long-term clients are better than short-term money. So sometimes when you see people, I made this much money today, or that much money today, I've got nothing wrong with someone making money, nothing wrong at all. But, sometimes there can be a fine line of taking the piss and doing the wrong thing. And I think that's that age-old proverb that liars are soon exposed. So truth stands the test of time. Truth will stand the test of time. Well, something that is true now will still be true in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and lies are soon exposed. So in other words, if you do the wrong thing by someone, you can expect, you might get away with it once or twice, you might get away with it the first week, the second month, but after a period of time, there will come a point where it will be exposed, and when it does, whoop-pow, you can expect some serious backlash, and that's not what you want, right? What do you want? You want long-term clients. That's what you want. But one of the most underrated things about finding work, and one of the most underrated things about the sales pathway, and just about, I guess, getting more work into your electrical business, aircon business, solar business. If you operate another business, you can get stuffed and get out of here. Now, you can listen, but we're Sparky Coach, and Sparkies are just generally better looking than other traits. Smarter, better, faster, stronger, all the things that Daft Punk mentioned, we are just that. If you're a Sparky, just look at yourself in the mirror, in the rearview mirror if you're driving, and just give yourself a little nod. It's going, CC, yes, this person, he's speaking the truth. This will stand the test of time. This is the truth. Or look at yourself in some kind of mirror. Look at yourself in your plier reflection. What pliers do you have, actually? The yellows, blues, oranges. I'm a big yellow person. You know that. I say that a lot. We preach yellow. If you go any other way, tell me why. Tell me why. Backstreet Boys style. Where were we? One of the most underrated ways to grow your business, and you like, just hopefully you're sitting down and get this, right? I'm going to blow your mind here. One of the best ways to grow your business, one of the best ways to get more work, one of the best ways to find more work is to get your quotes out on time. 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 One of the best and fastest way to grow your business is to get your quotes out on time. And it's crazy, right? Like, it sounds so simple. And I want to encourage you that at Sparky Coach, we adopt a philosophy. I know, like, just generically speaking about a lot of coaching companies try and make the simple complex. So I know a lot of short courses people push through, and they leave you with more questions than answers, so you sign up to the next. We don't do that here. We're not about that. We're just trying to make the complex simple. Let's be like, we're not trying to complicate everything, and you need, jot form to Asana, to the moon, back into your phone, back into your next door neighbor's phone, back across to someone else's phone, back through the Wi-Fi, back across the WAP, back into home automation. Bam! When you start your car, the client jot form just busts into the job management system. We're like, cool, that's awesome. There's nothing against that. But generally speaking, Tina Turner was right. Simple is best. Simple as best. Simply the best. But, you know, how good was Tina Turner? Got some NRL, like, mid-90s vibes going on in my head right now. Who was that winger for St George? I'm going to say it was Ruben. Ruben Wiki's not correct. Damn, I've forgotten his name. Ricky Waldorf? I can't remember. Someone who's an NRL lord will be like, oh, you don't know who you're talking about. Anyway, it definitely wasn't Ruben Wiki, but we'll move on. We digress. I don't even know where we were. Oh, yeah, Tina Turner, simple is best, simply the best, simple is best, right? If you're just good with people, in other words, staff and clients and yourself, because you are a person as well, you are a person as well. And I say this, been saying this a lot lately, but you know, people ask all the time, or maybe I ask myself the question, what is the best tool that you own? Is it my yellow set of crescent pliers? Is it my phone? And I think the best tool you have is your headspace. And get this, right? The best tool you have is your headspace, but without headspace, you become a tool pretty quickly. Tool, like, not a good thing, right? So your best tool you have, I think, is your headspace, your ability to work smarter, not work harder, your ability to foresee, your ability to predict, your ability to react, your ability to not react at certain times, your ability to see the forest from the trees, your ability to be like, oh, a long-term client precedes short-term money, okay, like your ability to get that, talk to that staff member before that issue resolves, your headspace, right, your headspace. So it's like, but without headspace, when you become busy, when you become tired, you become a tool. Like, you become easily frustrated, easily brought to anger. A gentle breeze would knock you into the abyss of anger, and you're just like, ah! And you know, and you like, you get your toolbox out. If you've got your toolbox out, or your tool bag out, or your tool belt out, whatever you want to call it, and you're like, where's my pliers, or where's the torch? The torch is in the roof from the last job, and you're like, I'm going to charge this kid, I'm going to back charge this kid, I'm going to back charge this tradie. You left my torch here, that's a 2-hour round trip, that cost me $400, and I'm going to take it out of your pay. And you know, like when you're tired and busy and running on that hamster wheel and the dryer, the treadmill, you can do some pretty toolish stuff. But when you're got headspace, when you're looking after yourself, when you can be cool, calm, and collected, and make some smart decisions. And 2024 for you, we all know you can work hard, but can you work smart? That's a big thing. I'm not discounting hard work. Hard work has a time and a place. I want you to work hard. I want you to be proud of what you achieved. Yes, we also want to work smart. And working smart is requires headspace, requires time, energy, and effort into thinking about what could this year be? What could next year be? What about if I put the hard work in now and I'm not just creating something that I'm physically tied to, I'm creating an asset that I can either sell or keep or pass down to my son or daughter in 10 or 15, 20 years' time, 5 years' time, whatever. And I think don't underestimate what your business can be. So keeping it simple, people, in other words, clients, staff, and yourself, right? Because you are a person, I said that before, you are a person. You are a person. And product, making sure your product's good. Huge thing you see as people grow their business. What happens when you grow the business? When you are basically on the tools, you are just an absolute weapon. Just look at yourself in the mirror and be like, I am the ruffian god, baby. No one strips PowerPoints like me. It's the red wire, it's the black wire, it's the red and green wire. Whoop-pow! It's on. Just turn around for just a second, and I'll put that PowerPoint on the wall. And no one cares. It shouldn't be a flex that you're that good on site. Like, it doesn't really matter, because in 5 years' time, your job's going to be office-based anyway. If you want to create an asset, that's what it's going to need to be. And if the business revolves completely around you, you can kind of forget going on holidays. You can kind of forget lots of things. Right? You forget lots of things. You should just forget long weekends, family stuff, all that bits and pieces. So what you want to do is you want to basically create a business that doesn't revolve around you, but as it doesn't revolve around you, the tendency can be, not is, hear me out, the tendency isn't, the tendency can be that the product drops because you're involved less. Now, that shouldn't be the case. It can be the case. It's sometimes, like, you know, you on the tools, you're probably so thorough, so organised, so measured, so you're having all those conversations and all this kind of stuff, right? So that's great, and your staff members might need to be trained in that. What's 101 to you might not be 101 to your staff members. So now you've got to basically train and educate and elevate and make sure they can see the forest and the trees and make sure they can make sure everything on site's happening to a certain standard to your... And here's the thing, you want to make sure that it's to Australian standards, it's to your company standards, that the client's aware of what's happening, and that the tradie on site can be like, I did it this way because of this. If those 4 things are covered and it's wrong, in other words, I would have done it a bit differently, then I can handle that because it's to code and it's to my code. Pretty much, maybe I would have put like 3 screws in instead of 4 or 2 screws in instead of 4. But generally speaking, it's pretty good. And this is where training those staff members comes in. And this is where if you can get someone, if you're just starting out, if you can get an apprentice or just have one tradie and an apprentice, and that apprentice, it's the emphasis goes upon hiring the right people, right? Like if you've got a good tradie to start off with and a good apprentice, or a good to great tradie, a good to great apprentice, you can do some good to great things. It's when you've got some average people, you might be doing some average things. But at the stage of business where you're moving off the tools, the product can't get worse while your prices remain the same or get better. You've got to be really, really careful of that. The product has to remain solid, and the pricing structure, if the product's good to great to excellent and remaining good to great to excellent, and the pricing goes up a bit, but the product stay the same, you're cool, you're cruising. But if you're getting off the tools and the product's sort of dropping because it's not you, and you forgot to order that part, and I forgot to have that conversation, and the invoice is wrong, and this happened there and that happened there, if the product's dropping or dipping and the pricing's remaining the same or pushing a little bit north, you're in for some rocky seas ahead. You're in for some roadworks. You're in for some potholes. You're in for some... You're in some murky waters. You're in some dangerous territory, and probably rightfully so. To be honest. So you've got to watch that, and there is a bit of double handling in that stage, but make sure your product's good. That comes from workflows like rough-in checklists, end-of-job checklists, fit-off checklists. We've all got that on lock at Sparky Coach. And then basically if you do people, product, and numbers well, in numbers in terms of like you're making money. That's what you want. There's nothing wrong with making money. There's nothing wrong with money. There's something wrong with the love of money or the obsession of money, but nothing's wrong with actual money. There's nothing wrong with money. You can do some cool things when you've got some money, right? So going into this, right, if you get people, product, numbers, if you can nail those 3 things, in not just in 2024, if you can nail those 3 things throughout your business journey, you're going to do some really, 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 really cool things. Now, get this. Here's what I was saying. The Finding Work Playbook, like I said before, has get your quotes out on time. And I was speaking to someone the other day who shall remain nameless. And I said... and I was like, how's everything going? This person is a builder, but you can reference this person to anyone, right? To like any client, whether it's real estate or IT or builder or school. So I don't want you to shut down when I say the word builder. I just want you to listen up. So I was speaking to him, and he was like, I was like, how'd you go? Like, how'd you go with that big project, $3 million house, a quote? And I was like, how'd you go? He goes, I got 2 quotes back, and he's used both these people before, and they are both pretty good. Similar sized teams, similar sized personalities, and I was like, who are you going to go with? Because I know both of them. I'm like, who are you going to go with? And he said, I'm definitely going to go with, and he mentioned the person, and I said, why? What? Is there a reason? And he's like, oh, look, his quotes are always back on time. So I was like, oh my gosh, how important is getting your quotes back on time? So it's like his first reason, the first thing that came out of his mouth is the quotes back on time. Now I'm going to keep moving forward here, right? After that, I said like, well, when did the other person get their quote back? And he said, the day before the tender. And he's like, you got to understand, as a builder, I'm piecing together this like document. There's 20 different contractors or subcontractors in the mix. I got to get quotes for this, quotes for that, quotes for timber, quotes from Sparky, solar, aircon, plumbers, chippies, renderers, driveways, all this kind of stuff. I'm combining 20 to 30 major items. I need to review it, look over it, and I'm getting 2 of these as well, which is a very fair result. For a builder to get 2 quotes is sometimes out of their hand. The client has asked that or demanded that, or the architects asked that or demanded that. So there's nothing wrong with someone getting a couple of quotes. I wouldn't think that that should be an issue if you're in competition with someone. Very, very normal if you get to a certain size of business. And then it's interesting, and he was like, oh, I've got to go through all that, and getting the quote back the day before it was due, essentially put me in a hot seat where I didn't have time to fully go through it. I've got so much other things to do, and I went through it a bit, and he wasn't as thorough as the other person. So I'm like, okay, I want everyone to listen up here. When you get that quote in and see the deadline, don't make the deadline the deadline. like aim for 6:45 a.m., hit 7 a.m. sometimes. Aim for 4 days before, 5 days before, a week before, but don't be late on this stuff. Get your quotes back on time. Get your quotes out on time. I used to have 2 rules with quoting, either on time or on site. You know, it took me a long time to learn that. Sometimes I'm driving from job to job, to place, and getting quotes back too late. And they're like, I've had that job done. I'm like, oh, damn it, I missed an opportunity to do that. And I'm just like, you've just got to, if you do the simple things well, you can do some great things. If you do the simple things well, you do some great things. Now, on that, right? And so it was on time, and it was more thorough. It was more thorough. So in other words, they looked at the second person and be like, well, they left a few things out. They kind of always do that. And it just got me thinking checklists, right? Product. Going through, and we've got all these quoting checklists, whether it's for a cafe, a restaurant, whether it's for a new build or a renovation or a unit job or a large commercial job. Checklists are so important when you're quoting. So you're rolling through it going like, did I quote that? Did I quote that? Have I got that? And you're able to ask some really good questions. It's like at the early stage, we call it an RFI. You're able to anticipate the 20 things that they've missed on the quote, or 10 things they've missed, or not maybe missed, but that you would require some further information. So that's what an RFI stands for, request for information. So you can request this information, they can get the information over to you, and then you can compile the quote. And there's nothing like thoroughness, there's nothing like detail for someone to have confidence in you and your product. In other words, I know I've quoted this correctly, I've got this across the line, I've asked the 20 good questions, and I've submitted it, and the builder or client or developer or IT company or school or whatever, insert client here, they have looked at it and been like, I'm confident in that person's process. I'm confident in the questions they've asked. They've actually gone up a couple levels in my book. I would like to deal with this person again because they asked the good questions. And that's the most underrated thing, right? People want thorough. People want detail. People want to know they're in safe hands. When you think about, we've got a sales short course running this month, and when you think about what people are really buying, when you think about what people are really selling, when you think about what you're really selling, what are you really selling? You're probably selling your body in a roof space, yours or your staff members' electrical services. You're selling goods and services for money, right? You're selling your body for some dollar bill, y'all, right? In a relatively PG sort of manner sometimes, most of the time, you would say. But what are you really selling? What are people really buying? They're buying peace of mind. They're buying your reputation. That's why Google reviews matter. That's why doing a good job matters. That's why returning to jobs and fixing mistakes matters. That's why having a moral or ethics code or system matters. That's why getting the quote back on time matters. That's why being thorough matters. What are you really selling, and what are they really buying? They're buying peace of mind, and you're selling peace of mind. That's what's happening. So when you come to someone's job and you're like, hey, this switchboard needs to be upgraded, people are like, thank you for pointing that out. You can do that at this point, and I'm comfortable and confident in your 200 reviews, 100 reviews, in the fact that my friend Joey, recommended you, in the fact that I saw you operate in a certain manner. Make no mistake, people are watching how you operate. They're watching how you operate. And if you can remain consistent, you're not going to be perfect, right? Don't kid yourself. You're not going to be perfect. But if you can remain consistent enough, and consistently on the good side, consistently on the great side, consistently on the thorough side, consistently on the organized side, consistently on the product is consistent, regardless if Ben goes to the job, Joey goes to the job, Jimmy goes to the job, Hazel goes to the job is going to get done to the code, insert your business name here, to the business standard of how we operate. That's some cool stuff. You can do some cool things in that. So my biggest reflection here is, like, if you can get the quote out on site, get it out on site. If otherwise, it has to go out on time. And my encouragement to you here is change your perception of on time. So if on time is the 16th of July, make it the 9th in your calendar. Get organised, get thorough. It's when you leave it to the last minute, you don't have time to ask the right questions because you're too busy. You send it without asking the right questions. The client's looking through it going like, he's left out 10 things, she's left out 10 things. The other person was heaps better to deal with. Your quoting process is part of your product, right? Your product isn't just like cable clipping every 300 mil and the PowerPoint is level. That's a part of your product. Your product is everything from answering the phone to getting the quote back on time, to asking the right questions for the quote, to the invoice matching the drapes, the carpet matching the drapes, to the invoicing process, to the variation process, to the Google review, to how the van pulls up in the driveway on time or early, to that the stock's in the car, the materials have been ordered. You're selling peace of mind, and your product is a start to finish journey. It's not one part of it, it's many parts of it. And the earlier and sooner you get your staff members on site to understand the importance of the admin team and the admin team to understand the importance of the site team, the quicker and easier you can do some you can have one team run dream and do some cool stuff. So wrapping this up, in wrapping the present, and finalising the product, get your quotes back on time, get your quotes back on site. Don't miss your opportunities to grow the business or increase the business or work with some cool clients. Be organised, book your quote in the calendar as you need to for 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, 1 hour, gold jacket, green jacket, whatever it's going to take. Book it in, get it done, and happy quoting. Peace. See you guys soon.